pick up where we left off with equine breeds. So we just mentioned quarter horses. Somewhat short and stocky, heavy muscular development. They got their name from being able to run a fast quarter mile. They're very good for working cattle, good for jobs around the ranch. They are good for pleasure riding. They're not as smooth as a gaited horse. A gaited horse is one that has a rhythm to their step. And once that horse gets into that gait, it's very smooth. There's not as much bouncing up and down in the saddle. Then we'll talk a little bit about draft horses. Belgians is one of those breeds. There's also Clydesdales and other breeds out there. Very large. They were used for work. A lot of muscle on them. They were built and bred for pulling heavy loads, kind of like the Budweiser horses, the Clydesdales. And then donkeys. Donkeys in the U.S. being used as pets now, not as much for draft or work uses, but one of the very main uses in Northeast Arkansas is being used as guardian animals. Turning a donkey loose with your cattle herd, goat, or sheep herd, and they will protect them from dogs, coyotes, and other predators. They're very good guardian animals. And then mules. You take a male donkey, you breed it to a female horse, and you end up with a mule. Mules are better than horses or donkeys, much larger, stronger, tougher. There is also gaited mules. You'll get in, they'll get into a gait and a rhythm of step, very pleasurable to ride. They can climb steeper mountains than horses, make very good pack animals, good for draft uses and work uses, good for working cattle. So just good all around animal. Moving on to digestive systems. Ruminants are mammals that are able to acquire nutrients from plant-based food by fermenting in a specialized stomach. Okay, ruminants have a bacteria in their gut, in their rumen, that will digest the plant cell wall, and that will deteriorate the plant cell wall and open up those nutrients for that animal to absorb. Humans, monogastrics, we cannot do that. We only have hydrochloric acid in our stomach. We don't have that bacteria to break down that cell wall of plant cells. So ruminant animals that we raise on farms are cattle, goats, sheep, and then deer and wildlife. As you see in the ruminant animal, it all starts kind of like what we have. You chew it, they swallow it, and it will go into the rumen. Anything hard, metal will go into the reticulum, where it's called the hardware stomach. It'll protect everything else and put that in that hard-lined compartment there. One thing about ruminants is they can regurgitate, and they do regurgitate their food very frequently. They were designed to be able to eat large amounts of plant material at once, and then go back in the shade in the safety of the trees and regurgitate that food and mechanically chew that up and swallow it again. So in the rumen, the bottom third will be solids of plant material, the middle will be liquid, and then the top will be gas and floating plant material. And that rumen will churn and mix that, and it'll be broken down with that bacteria. Then it moves to abomasum or the omasum. The omasum was called leaves of the Bible. Has a lot of layers of skin in there that will absorb those nutrients, and it goes to the abomasum, then out to the small intestines, large intestines, then makes a cow pie. Okay. There's a video of a cannulated, I believe it's a cannulated steer, and you can watch that if you have the Google Slides. And then the digestive system, monogastric, like humans. Okay, humans and swine are very similar in that. We chew it up, goes down the esophagus into the hydrochloric bath in the stomach, then moves down the small intestines and out the large intestines. For us, the way we absorb most of our nutrients will be through the small intestines, and that gets worked back into the bloodstream. Hindgut fermentation. Rabbits, horses, and hippos are hindgut fermenters. Their stomach looks very similar to ours as a monogastric, but the difference is this large cecum that works as a fermentation vat. That plant material can go back here and ferment, and then it'll be broken down, going through the large colon and out and make horse biscuits. There's a beef slaughter video we watched in class. Beef products. So here's a very simple diagram of where the beef that you eat come from. Here's a dairy video. You can watch this from the 10th Generation Dairyman. Very good channel. Watch that myself. I recommend you watching that if you want to watch about the dairy industry. As my wife watched it, she said, "Well, this is really interesting." My wife was not raised on a farm, but she thought it was very interesting how clean they are and how well they take care of the cattle to produce the milk that we drink. So check him out.